continuing on with the fucking toxic family saga, the bits that I left out. Now, mind you, most of this shit, yeah, all of this shit is heard by word of mouth, but I'ma fucking put it on here anyway. So that way you get an idea of how easily we're just supposed to forget the shit that happens in this family, and that's the only way that we can participate in this family in peace, and even then, it's not fucking peaceful. So, my Nana, my mother's mother, was living with my mother. Oh, wait, no. Before that, she was living with my first aunt. My first aunt is the older one. My second aunt is the younger one, and she's a twin with my uncle. So, my first aunt had my Nana living with her. And she was living with her since the time my Mima, her mother, had died. And so, while she was living with her, she ended up having a fucking heart attack. And then, again, this is by word of mouth from other family members that I heard this story. My Nana ended up having a heart attack. And I was gradually getting bits and pieces of the story from my sister and my mother, where, you know, she ended up being hospitalized. She, apparently, my aunt hadn't seen her for like a week or two, and felt like she heard her like scream or like call her name. And so that's when she went to go check on her, and she found her in the bathroom. And then my mom was just talking about how traumatized she was to see her mother on the floor and all of that stuff. And my mom was pretty much rolling her eyes at that, like, you traumatized? What the fuck? You damn near killed her. Yeah. Then, like, cause it was weird because my sister at one point tried to take something to my Nana for her birthday, like food. And it was like they were telling me that they weren't really allowed to bring her food or bring her stuff unless they brought it for like everybody. And even then, you know, my aunt and her husband would like take it or eat it or whatever the case was. I don't fucking know the exact details. I'm just pulling this shit from whatever I fucking remember. And then there was another story about how her husband put a lock on like a freezer in their like laundry area or whatever, a place where my Nana couldn't even get to because she wasn't that mobile. And yeah, to stop her from going in there and getting food. And then what else? Then she ended up fucking hospitalized, living, and then my mom was just like, fuck this, I'm gonna just have her living with me. And so after she had gotten out of the hospital, my mom had taken her in. But after my mom had taken her in, then there was like rumors being passed around between like my family members and telling me about this shit, where it was being said that my aunt's husband accused my cousin, who was very straight edge as far as I knew at the time. Like, she had never participated in extracurricular intaking activities. If you know, you know. It doesn't fucking matter. And so basically he was saying that she was on that and all of that shit. And then supposedly saying that, you know, my sister, who had a newborn, was, you know, being inappropriate because she was breastfeeding or whatever, basically implying that she was a hoe. Then supposedly he mentioned something about my mother wanting him, which I found that outrageous because my mother doesn't like anybody. But, you know, my aunt had a dream that, like, they were doing some funky stuff together, and so she kind of pulled away from the fucking family. And everybody was mad at her for a while because of what had happened with my Nana. Because it's just like, how do you have somebody in your house for like a week or two and you don't see them and you don't do anything? Like, she was rarely ever able to leave her room. Like, I don't know if it was because she wasn't allowed to, because it was giving the energy of like she wasn't allowed to. Now, mind you, all of these is just fucking rumors, whatever. But yeah, this is all from word of mouth from what everybody else was fucking telling me, so whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he said something about my second aunt too, but I don't remember exactly what that was. So yeah, they ended up pulling away from the family, and everybody was mad at her for a while. Then my mom ended up taking in my Nana. Of course, she was getting annoyed because like the space is very fucking small, and my Nana was staying in her room, and all of that. And then, like, my sister was just like, oh yeah, my second aunt and my mom, like, were kind of being vicious and like very gossipy, and at one point made my Nana cry. And like, my mom was just so annoyed with her, and to the point where she was just like, you know what, you gotta leave by a certain time. And so supposedly my Nana went to go live with my uncle. Now, mind you, since I have been in the vicinity of my fucking family, I've not seen her at all. And so yeah, then she went to go stay with my uncle. Then my mom, after I had moved back here, then my mom was just like talking about how, you know, she was trying to get a hold of my aunt, and she's like, and I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I don't know what I said, but she's like, yeah, if I want to get a hold of you, I'm gonna get a hold of you. There ain't nothing you can do to keep me from getting a hold of you. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, that's kind of toxic. And like, why are you trying to get a hold of her after, like, you know, all of that shit that you said she did, and all of the shit that you said her husband did? And then lo and behold, she's back in the freaking family. Nobody's talking about the shit that fucking happened. No one's talking about the fact that, you know, her husband supposedly did all of this stuff and said all of this stuff. It's just like it never happened. And that's supposed to be okay. But I can't exist. I can't make mistakes of like running off to get away from her, ending up in shitty, toxic situations without that being constantly replayed. But whatever the fuck this is okay. They dang near killed my freaking Nana. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. They dang near ended her life from neglect and all of that. But I can't live with the fucking mistakes that I made of fucking ending up in toxic situations and toxic relationships. That didn't make any fucking sense to me. And this is why I don't want to participate in this fucking family. Because shit like this happens where a life is almost fucking taken, and we're just supposed to, because it was found out, I think, by the doctors that she might have had multiple heart attacks. I think that's what they said. And we're just supposed to just welcome everybody back with open arms and not talk about the shit. And that's how this fucking family goes. They just do bad shit, and then it just gets erased. Everybody comes right back into the fucking group. Like, it's insane. It's fucking insane. It doesn't make any damn sense. If they're really doing all of this shit, why are they just brought back into the freaking family and we're all just supposed to pretend like all that other shit didn't happen? I can't be that person.